This is the Universal Wrestling Podcast. Inside the ring, outside the ring, it's all here.
We're talking about the greatest sport of all, professional wrestling.
Now here's your host,
the cream of the crop,
Nick Dieterdy.
Come on!
Welcome back to the Universal Wrestling Podcast. Chris Dunn is here with me, as well as Deonna Purrazzo. Deonna, thank you for coming on the program today and helping us make awareness for such an amazing cause. We've been doing it for a couple weeks now. So, Deonna, how are you? Thank you for coming.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm great.
Good. Chris, let's hear it.
Yeah, we've been playing this at the top of the podcast where, this is airing sometime the week of 5/9. The donation drive ends 5/22. So please, if you can, whatever you can, whether it's $10, $5, $1, the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society appreciates it. And, it goes towards amazing research, and not just for leukemia and lymphoma, all types of different blood cancer. This organization is the premier scientific organization and research organization helping cancer patients. So if you can, please help out.
Yeah. We've had a busy past few weeks, but Deonna, last week you had a really busy week. AEW, of course, Impact, AAA. Let's hear it. How was it to make your debut on Dynamite?
Yeah, it was really cool. It's obviously Britt Baker's my best friend, so it was something we had been pushing for like a year, it seems like now, just to work together in some capacity. So it was nice to be there with her and see a lot of familiar faces. And I think for me, it was just really full circle, because I was supposed to be at All In, which was like the precursor to AEW, and then that didn't work out. So now, fast forward like 2 years, when I was released, it was like just a weird period. I didn't know that I was going to be welcome at AEW or what. Landed at Impact, and now it's just like everything has come together. I'm a true believer in, everything happens for a reason and the way it's meant to be. So this is my journey, and it's been really, really cool.
It has been. Go ahead, Chris.
Oh yeah, it was pretty awesome. Like, as somebody who's known you since I think 2017, 2016, like, your first night, like you are, on the show, you're walking into the main event I got excited because I was doing something, and I had like plans for after AEW that night, and they sent out a tweet, it's like, oh, we are going as long as the match goes. I was like, oh damn. Like, it feels like like I always get like visions of like WCW back in the day with Nitro, when I see those things. So it was just so cool to see you in that moment.
Yeah, it was like the lead up to it all day. We didn't know, what the card looked like, where we were going to be. And it's funny because Mercedes and I were like, we might be the main event. We were the biggest thing on the advertisement, but gosh, like, I don't want to be in that spot. That's a lot of pressure. And then at like 5 o'clock, they were like, so you guys are the main event. And it was like, a lot of pressure. Impact does our live pay-per-views. There's like 4 every year, and then we do these like app specials that are live. But I don't necessarily do live TV every week like people on AEW are. So it was even more pressure for me to be like, can I still do this? I hadn't done live TV since NXT, so that's 2 years. So I was like, oh gosh, and we have a commercial break, and we have a picture in picture. There's so many facets to this that we have to get right because we're the main event. But I think it turned out really, really great. I think that I got to put my best foot forward, Impact's best foot forward, and it's just a really exciting time for me right now.
You really did, and like I think everyone that knows you was really excited for that night. And I think like that's one thing about you too, where it's like, ever since I've known you, as a performer, you've always risen to the occasion, whether it's, when I first met you doing the Luchador stuff and the Alexa Bliss, Becky Lynch storyline, to like when you got called to Raw randomly one night for, a match with Asuka. Like, it's, you have a history of like, whether it's, a couple of weeks in advance or like 1 minute in advance, just like getting up to that high level that a lot of performers have trouble to sometimes. And I think, like, one thing too, you were talking about your release. We were talking to Scott Garland a couple weeks ago, And one thing he talked about in like his decision to leave NXT was like seeing performers on the independents or like after leaving WWE kind of like really make an awesome career for themselves.
Yeah.
And I think like you kind of fall into that category of like, you mentioned your release, but like since then it's just been up and up and up in such an amazing way.
Yeah, well, thank you. I that's one thing I do think that I like thrive well in pressure. And I think I've just kind of always been that way. From being like a competitive cheerleader and things like that. I'm like, when I'm there, I will do it, and I promise. But I think that's part of maybe like what we do as wrestlers is like, it's constantly a lot of pressure, and there's a million things being asked of you in 1 second, and you have split second decisions to make. And if you can't do that, then this probably isn't the profession for you. So as much as I feel I have that, I think the majority of us do have that. And the ability then to just take, what might be perceived as a negative, being released from NXT or WWE, and being able to say, hey, you know what, I'm going to make it work elsewhere. And I don't know where this is going to lead me, but we'll see, and I'll figure it out. And, I was able to do that. And I think that I was in that first round of releases. So it kind of maybe was eye-opening to anybody who then thereafter was released to be like, hey, okay, Deonna did this, or Matt Cardona did this, or whoever it is out there making a name for themselves, reinventing themselves in a new way maybe people didn't necessarily see them doing. And it's given a lot of people, still people who are unfortunately getting released now, the ability to be like, okay, it sucks, but life goes on and I'll be okay.
Yeah, that's so awesome.
Hey, Chris, you mentioned you've referenced 2017 and working with Deonna. Could you guys elaborate a little on that?
Oh yeah, so like we were Deonna kind of crushed it. We were on SmackDown at the time. I was working with another writer, Johnny Russo, a lot on the Alexa Bliss Becky Lynch storyline with La Luchadora. And Deonna kind of started off as, and I don't want to speak for you, but like you kind of got involved in a locals match and kind of really stole the show. So I'll let you take it, Deonna.
Yeah, I think I was in Puerto Rico wrestling, and John Cone called me. And this is like, I've never spoken about this because I was like, well, they told me not to, and I wasn't La Luchadora in the end. So I've just kind of been like, maybe I was, maybe I wasn't. So insider scoop. They called me last second and were like, hey, could you come to SmackDown on Friday? And I was like, okay, yeah, sure. And they didn't really tell me what I'd be doing, but I remember it was in Washington, D.C., and there's a commission in D.C., and I wasn't licensed, but I told you guys I was so I could come and do whatever you were asking me to do. So I had to hide from the commission all day because I was like, if they ask me and I don't have the paperwork, I'm not going to be able to be on SmackDown. And then I got to just do like a little thing where Alexa beat me up. And fast forward like a week or two, I think I got another call saying like, hey, we want you to come back, and this is what the storyline is going to be. And we don't know what it'll be, but you are going to, wrestle under a mask for a few weeks. And I was like, cool, awesome. Like, I get to wrestle on SmackDown. So who would, especially the position I was in at that time, like who would say no to that?
Yeah, you were doing a great job on it. And like, it's, I think if I remember correctly, like we wanted to keep using you. I think you had a tour in Japan though, which kind of like threw it on off. And like it ended up being Mickie instead, which was really cool. I think like it's such a interesting sliding doors moment because I think like, a bunch of people were, pitching and trying to figure out ways to bring Mickie back. But it would have been great. Like the tough part about that time, and occasionally it's really like roster size is such a important thing, like, and such a weird thing because like you can have too few people or too many people. SmackDown, I think at the start of the brand extension, I may be wrong, this only had 6 or 7 women on the roster. So bringing in more people was like really important, but you're also trying to bring the right people in. And like having, like you were kind of like doing such a good job where, it seemed to make sense. But yeah, it's luckily though, like it kind of worked out it did because like going to Japan and like kind of, as you're kind of growing as a performer is like the perfect place to be.
Yeah, it was interesting too because I was told like, it might be Mickie, but we might have it both of you, and then like kind of see. And then too, it was this weird period, I think, on SmackDown where James Ellsworth was an extra, and you know, kind of like really knocked it out of the park. So then you guys kept using him, and then I think he was signed. So like for me, it was kind of exciting of like, ooh, okay, there's a lot of possibility for me to just like come and be on SmackDown and not do the NXT thing right now. And kind of, the possibilities I felt like for me were endless. So I had even told, I think John Cohn at the time, like, hey, I'm supposed to go to Japan, but like, this is more important. So if you need me, I can be here. Like, you guys just let me know what you need from me and I will figure my life out. But yeah, then it was Mickie, which was still really cool because I remember SmackDown, and I think it was in Memphis. They had us both, and I came out and I had to be dressed up in the thing because no one was supposed to know it was me, like roster wise. We were kayfabing everybody, and did whatever they needed me to do, and then out came Mickie in the same outfit, and I left, so everyone thought it was still me. And it was really funny because I remember like Randy coming up to me and this person coming up to me, and they knew it was me, but I had to be like, I'm not allowed to speak because Mickie was finally there. So they really, like, you guys really wanted to play up that it was truly, it could be either of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things in like those situations where like you never, it's always a game of telephone of like knowing, like, because like the writing team and talent is like so or the talent department are so separated, so like you never know. But it was definitely cool, and like I think it kind of like worked out really well for you in the end because like you got to experience all these different things, and like it's kind of funny and cool to come like full circle because like, you know, in the last year your story with Mickie James was probably one of the better stories in wrestling.
Thank you. Yeah, it was really cool because we had never gotten to work together really in any capacity. So going from that, and I kept talking about all year, like, you stole my opportunity on SmackDown, and we just had so much fun with it. And I love her so much. She's so phenomenal. So in hindsight, I was obviously so happy for her to like right the wrongs of her career and get to do it again and see where it went, and then, you know, also get to work with her on the backside of that and have you know, we main evented a pay-per-view for the Knockouts, which had never happened before, so make some real history with her.
That's so awesome. Yeah, it was such a great match, and she's also like not only an amazing in-ring performer and promo and just legend, she's also like an awesome person who's done a great job helping us support this charity too.
Oh, good. Yeah. Oh, I can't. I'm not supposed to talk well of her, but I really. No. Yeah.
I did like the tweet. I did like the tweet she sent the other night of like a very like, I'm not supposed to say anything good about Deonna Purrazzo, but that main event.
Yeah, we have this love-hate relationship.
Yeah, that's funny. That reminds me of Adam Cole and Pat McAfee. We had Adam Cole on the podcast a few weeks ago. And it's a love-hate relationship with Pat McAfee. But on to another legend, Deonna. You had Jazz's last match, retirement match. How was that? Could you reflect on that?
Yeah, working with Jazz was a dream come true. And I truly, truly believe like she was so ahead of her time. And she just like has never gotten the recognition she deserves for all that she did. So I was kind of nervous of like, what do you want to do? And she's so freaking cool. Like, she's just like, you tell me, like, whatever you think is going to be good, that's what we'll do. And she gave me the reins to say and do whatever I wanted throughout our whole few week storyline. So, and then with the match. So it was just really cool to be in the ring with a legend. And I think that was, I think I had just maybe wrestled ODB. So like, I was just kind of getting into this, like, I couldn't call myself the legend killer, but it's like a legend killer thing that it was like, how do I level up for these people? And how do I make sure that like no one has, if I'm working with this high caliber level of people, I want them to think I'm in the same category. So how do I rise to this occasion as well? And that was kind of like my mindset of like, I want to do right by them and I want to give them awesome matches and I want them to walk away saying like, she's one of the best.
I think like so a couple months ago, you know, and I probably should ask this earlier, but when you heard AEW was buying ROH, like what was the what was your reaction? And like, are you like, based on like the other night, like, has it like surpassed that? Like, how are you enjoying the ROH AEW relationship now?
I was just as surprised as everybody, I think, because the relationship that Impact had worked out with Ring of Honor was like, we don't know what's to happen, and we just want her to kind of navigate us through this unknown period and keep us relevant and keep people talking about it. And when we figure it out, we'll be back, and then we'll figure out what's happening with the belt. So then when it was like a bomb dropped. It was like, oh crap, like, but this is really good for me, because up until that point, I had not worked with AEW. There was kind of a line drawn in the sand about like women will not be being a part of this crossover. So it was like, oh, all of the doors are kind of open, and I'm the Ring of Honor champion, so I'm definitely going to be involved in this somehow, and I win in this situation. But then it was difficult, because when they had first said we're going to do Supercard of Honor, it's going to be in the arena in Dallas, and Impact also had a show happening, and I was like scheduled to be on the signing, and there was just so many schedule things to work out that it was like, oh, but I don't want to mess up this opportunity, because it's a really great opportunity for me. It's a really great opportunity for women. I really, really hope that Impact and AEW can figure it out. And it wasn't Supercard of Honor, which also was a really good thing, because I had a really bad bruised leg that I was like really worried about. How am I going to wrestle two title matches on the same night and not break my leg? So I think when it came to like, okay, now you're going to do it on Dynamite, didn't know it was going to be the main event, didn't know where it was going to be, when it was going to be, but it was going to be Dynamite. I was like, 1 million people are going to watch me wrestle. And I couldn't even tell you the last time that happened. So yes. So I just think, yeah, I win in this whole situation. And then on top of it, it's super special to me, because I, back in 2015, like helped bring back a women's division in Ring of Honor. And I was kind of one of those people pushing and poking and annoying people at Ring of Honor, like, hey, we should bring more women in, and hey, women's wrestling matters. So to see Ring of Honor and that women's division and what it meant to me and whatever it's going to be now kind of come to a head and meet and be the main event on Dynamite, and have, I think, numbers came out and it was like 800,000 people watching myself and Mercedes Martinez. That's like beyond my wildest dreams.
So cool. Yeah, it was awesome. And like, so I have a curveball question that somebody who's a fan of yours asked me to ask. And if you don't like it, we cut it out. But this person was saying they see like on your social media occasionally, like fans will send you weird things. Is there what is the weirdest thing a fan has ever sent?
I don't think they like. I'm trying to think. Because I've gotten a few gifts, not to my house, but to like my mailing address, my PO box in New Jersey, which is totally okay to send things to, because it's not me, it's not my house. But things that have come to my house, nothing weird, but it's like just like cards to sign and like printed pictures that they like printed on their printer at home. With like little notes of like, I found your address, but I promise I won't share it with anybody. Like, the fact that you have it is the problem. But I've gotten like coffee mugs, and someone sent me like a Tom Brady Pop Funko once.
Nice.
Yeah, nothing too crazy, but yeah, when it comes to my house, it's just like, come on, like there's a website to buy merch, like there's an address to send things to that's not to my house. Like Steve and I just don't want things coming to our home, and I think that should be understandable, although it's not.
Well, have anything like hearing a Funko was a surprise, especially because like how valuable those are.
Yeah, that was really cool. I think it's still at the address that I do put out is like the wrestling school I trained at. So that goes to my trainer, and he's
cool.
through all that stuff. So I think it's still there. I think that he has everything kind of there for me, and I just leave it there.
Awesome. Well, I guess like we obviously you have to obviously if you get going a little bit quickly though, like it's been so impressive since like leaving NXT for you. You've had like so many great matches. Is there anyone you're looking forward to, whether it's AEW, Impact, ROH, just anywhere in wrestling Japan that you kind of really hope to get to work with the next year or so?
Yeah, I think that Britt is always going to be that option. I think
Yes.
that, that's the dream match for, I think, everybody right now. And, I think Wednesday kind of like solidified that, where we were both like, no, we just want to be together all the time. But I think that my dream match is, the three best friends, me, Britt, and Chelsea. And I didn't get to do All In with them. And obviously there were other people involved in All In, but I think that if we could do like that, but the three of us, and it would just be really special and really cool considering our journeys and our friendship. But then too, like Impact has Knockouts tag team champions. So I would love to wrestle Madison Brain, who's won half of them, but then also maybe get a tag partner in Chelsea and do some tag stuff. I don't know.
And that sounds awesome. But before seeing that triple threat, I would love to see the three of you guys together
Yeah.
as a little faction for a bit. I think that would be so fun.
I think any combination of us would be cool.
Yeah, would make sense in AEW. They have that trios thing going on. So
100%. And Chelsea, another person just like crushing it in such an amazing way. Like she, like kind of going to like you and Matt and like Mickie. It's just like people, you're so happy to see you doing well. She was always kind of like such a standout performer, and like I always felt so horrible when she got injured, but like before Survivor Series.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Like I remember being home and we started a group text, me, Britt, and Matt, and it was like, what happened? Is she okay? She hasn't gotten back in the ring. Is she hurt? Is she not hurt? Like just being so panicked of like, this is a really, really great opportunity. This is life changing. And we didn't want something to be wrong, but yeah, unfortunately, like she got tossed out of the ring, and the way she landed put pressure on a plate that she didn't know was supposed to come out from the original broken wrist. So when she went in and saw the surgeon, he was like, oh, there was no way this arm wasn't going to break again because the plate was still in there. So it was just really, really horrible timing. But I think she's one of those people, again, that just has that ability to bounce back and to just take things into stride and try to figure it out. And, unfortunately, when she was released, she was so upset because she saw all the possibilities that, just when you make your main roster debut and you're just getting that upward trajectory of like, you're going to be on Survivor Series and who knows after that. It was really disappointing for her, but to see her come out of it and she has just reinvented herself and she's killing it as the hardcore queen, and then working with NWA and Impact and traveling the entire world. Like as a best friend, I couldn't be any prouder.
Yeah, I think like to her credit, like what always really impressed me about her outside of her in-ring ability, and she's like an amazing promo. And when I was at NXT, she was always like working backstage with the digital team and like on practice promos, on fleshing out her character, and like she was always coming with pitches every single week, more so than any other talent. And I know she was, I think in like one interview she said like she was worried she was getting heat over it, which was actually the opposite. It was like very impressive. Unfortunately, like it sometimes it's the stars just don't align, but it kind of goes to coming back around like to you and like all your friends, like, which has been so cool. It's just like it kind of really shows like when you believe in yourself and you bet on yourself and you push yourself, what you can accomplish. Because you're not NXT's Deonna Purrazzo right now. Like you are just Deonna Purrazzo in like such a good way where you can, hey, I've never appeared on this, TNT show before, but I can main event it against the NBA playoffs. So it's
yeah. And I think that's what makes it so special is like this last two years since has just been like a crazy whirlwind journey that none of it would be possible without my time in NXT and without what I went through there and struggled with there, and coming out of it being like having a chip on my shoulder and being like, screw it, I'm going to prove everybody wrong. And I'm going to be what I thought I could be and what I wanted to be. So I think, if you believe in yourself and have like a really core group of people who also believe in you, then anything truly is possible.
Thank you so much for making the time. You have always been so kind and just the best.
Oh, thank you guys so much. No, I'm happy. Happy we get to chat.
Yeah. Absolutely. What is it? Three kids from South Jersey or from Jersey?
Yeah.
Talking about wrestling.
Oh, hell yeah.
There we go.
I love that.
It's a good way to end it. Of course, the link is in the description below. Please donate if you can. Deonna, thank you so much for coming on and helping us support such an amazing cause. Chris, couldn't do it without you. Thank you, brother.
Appreciate it, Nick. You're the man as always.
Peace.